Hey everyone, I'm Brianna from Top Shelf Media. Welcome to the first episode of Off the Shelf. I am here with Corey Stringer from Innovate Hockey. How are you, Corey?
Good, Brianna. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Excited to have a chat hockey today.
Of course. Thank you for being on the pilot episode of this podcast.
Can't wait.
Great to have you. All right, so let's dive into it, Corey. What inspired you to start Innovate Hockey?
My love for the game of hockey, first and foremost, and my love for young hockey players. I saw an opportunity and a need to help young hockey players in this city where I grew up, where I played, where I had the opportunity, and I wanted to provide that same opportunity and more to every hockey player in this city. I want to develop fantastic hockey players and even better young human beings, turn them into great adults.
Perfect. And how many years did you play hockey personally?
I started skating when I was 3 years old. I've been playing hockey for 35 years now, so quite a little bit of time. And it's been my love, it's been my passion. And I came to a point in my life where I needed to give back, and I needed to be in my happy place, which is hockey, which is on the ice, which is teaching young players and just for the love of the game. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Great. Thanks so much. So to build off of what you said with giving back to the community, giving back to all these young athletes, what can they expect from your camps that you offer?
First and foremost, it's fun. We're talking about kids. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that, especially at higher levels, kids playing AAA, AA hockey, but it has to be fun because they're kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, the only way that they grow and they learn is with time, as we all are in the same boat. Mm-hmm. So they're going to come and they're going to have a blast. But with that, you know, we want to teach them things like discipline, accountability, making sure that we're setting them up for success in life. And then when we step on the ice, it's all about hard work, making sure these kids sweat, making sure they're out of breath, making sure that they're going through a ton of reps. There's a ton of correction, but it's all about movements. It's all about repetition, making sure that they're doing certain things over and over and over again until they can perfect those things as best they can. So having them understand to be disciplined on the ice, making sure they're accountable, but also having them understand that hockey's a game of mistakes, and they're all going to make mistakes. It's just a matter of controlling emotions, not getting too high, not getting too low. So when they step on that ice, it's going to be a little bit of everything. Make sure that they're working hard. Make sure that, you know, mom and dad see that they're working hard, that they're getting better, that they're improving. And most of all, make sure they're having fun. You want them coming off. You want them smiling. You want to be engaged with them. You know, a lot of positivity, constructive feedback, fist pumping, all the fun things, especially at 10, 11, 14, whatever the age is. They're kids. They're young. Make sure they have fun.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. So building off of how do people find out about your camps? Like, what kind of tools do you use for that?
My social media presence has been incredible, and I must say thanks to TS Media, because we really started together almost 5 years ago now, and I knew hockey. I know hockey players. I know what I need to do on the ice. The back end, not so much. Mm-hmm. Social media, the internet, and TS Media stepped in, and they were able to provide a strategic game plan on what they thought I needed, and it has been the best investment that I've ever made, because we're in, you know, the year 2025 right now, where social media and the internet is extremely prevalent, and these kids are on it nonstop, almost to a fault. It's becoming toxic, you know, but it does bring a lot of fantastic things across the world. Educationally, you know, things from cooking to do-it-yourselves to any of these things. So TS really helped with my social media platform and building my website. And obviously on all of those areas, there's contact information, but TS Media did a great job building, you know, my strategic plan throughout each year and what needs to be posted at certain times and what time of day we post it, and how impactful it could be. And it's paid dividends, that's for sure. It's, like I said, almost been 5 years between the partnership between the two of us. And without that social media presence, the online presence, the accessibility for people just to go on their phone and see who Innovate Hockey is, I don't know if I'd be here today, because everything is built around technology these days. Everything's built around your phones, easy accessibility, instant gratification. And that's what TS Media was able to provide me. And it's been amazing. It's been awesome.
Social media has definitely evolved over the years, especially. You see it from all these different aspects of posting, just definitely like taking things in at such a young age too. They're very malleable, so we have to be very cognizant of what is put out there. Perfect. All right. So off of Top Shelf Media, what other key associations do you work with and what Innovate works with?
Yeah, I know the handful of local hockey associations. The largest would be the Lancaster Bombers. And we've been together now for 3 years. We're going to be extending our partnership another 2. And we do a lot with that association, a lot of on-ice development with their players, but also a lot of off-ice development, a lot of mind training, mental training. We do coaches training seminars with all of their bench staff because they're the ones that are in charge. They're the adults that control the bench. So we spend a lot of time training them. And then just as of late, we've done parent seminars. And there's an awful stigma around hockey of crazy hockey parents, call it what it is, but it's real. It's real. We see it every day, and that's what social media brings. You can see, all the negative aspects of this game, and a lot of them fall on parents and coaches, which is completely unacceptable because they're adults. They're the ones that are going to the rink for their kids, and it's not a good scene. Lately, I saw, a father walk on the ice and shove 2 young referees that were 14 years old. That's not cool. That's not okay. And that's the stuff that can't be happening. So as much as we dive into an association like the Lancaster Bombers and help the players, it's all about coaches and parents too. It's a big community there. It's a family. So the more that we can communicate, the more that we can train each other and help each other to get on the same page and just be better people, the better off the sport's going to be and the better and more success your kid's going to have. So we do a lot with the Lancaster Bombers. We do stuff with the Hamilton Steel select teams, the premier AAA organization in this city, and they're fantastic. High-end athletes that are out there that want to improve, want to get better. We do a lot of stuff with girls associations as of late, the Hamilton Hawks, the Ancaster Avalanche girls, Flamborough Falcons girls. There's a ton of hockey out there, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to put our stamp on making the biggest impact in this community because this is where I grew up and my team grew up. Jamie Simpson and Josh Rinaldi, Jamie Williams, Mark Taylor, all these guys that Hamilton gave them so much for hockey, and we're trying to pour it back into the associations. So Stony Creek Warriors, Hamilton Huskies, the list goes on and on. Brantford Ice Cats, we're expanding outside this city, and we're growing naturally, organically, and making sure that we just want to help players. We want to help coaches. We want to help parents. We want to help board of directors. Let's be remembered for all the good that we do.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Sound like you're booked and busy.
It's crazy. It's been a crazy season. Yeah,
crazy's good sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, what do you feel about the open border business that's happening in local hockey nowadays?
It's interesting to say the least. I'm not a fan of it at all. I think it's the wrong decision. You're dealing with young hockey players. There needs to be structure. There needs to be structure within families, associations, coaches, players, and this ultimately turns it into the wild, wild west. I know, female hockey, they've been going down this path. They've abided by these rules for years, and the tough part with it is I find a severe lack of loyalty across the board because you have a lot of players, primarily because their parents will just jump ship and go to different city and different team. When I grew up, and I'm still close friends with all of my teammates. You had your team. You had a few changes every year, but you had that team from 9-10 years old until you were about 16. The players became best friends. The parents became best friends, which you rarely see anymore because all of these parents are at each other's throats because they are so intense and they need to take a step back and look at why they're all here. It's for their kid.
Yeah.
It's for their kid to have so much fun, to become a better hockey player, to become a better person, to become employable as they get older, all these things. But unfortunately, there is that stigma around hockey where the parents, unfortunately, are ruining a lot of situations. And this is a prime example. There has been numerous lawsuits, I'm sure, to the OHF, the OMHA, from parents. I hear all these rumors about kids being released from certain teams, and they sue the OHF. That's crazy in my eyes. I don't know the circumstances. You know, every situation's a little bit different, but for that to be happening, that's the reason the OHF, the OMHA did what they did. But I look at it as giving up, and it's very unfortunate because they need to stay committed to the players. There needs to be structure around hockey associations, leagues. You know, I just don't think being the wild, wild west is the solution.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to the loyalty aspect. Being a great teammate, being a great friend, being a great family member, being a great son or daughter, being a great parent. That's what loyalty is. And the other things that I spoke about earlier, discipline, accountability. You know, these are the traits that you need to learn as you get older because nothing is given to you. You have to perform. You have to perform at a good level, and you just have to be a good human being. And if you do the right thing, good things follow you. So it's the first year now. I'm not sure how it's going to shake out. I know people are worried. People are a little scared, and rightfully so. You know, for a team that's had good success over the past couple of years, all of a sudden you have 20 new athletes show up. Some of them could be higher level, same level, lower level. You don't know what that looks like. But I do know one thing for the city of Hamilton that I must commend them on is they provide a certain subsidized ice rate for associations, but the stipulation is those associations have to be a certain percentage residency. So for example, 80-90% of their players have to reside under their boundaries, which is a great thing, which is going to keep that local talent, that existing talent within your association. But it still leaves a lot of room for players to travel everywhere. And with tryouts coming up, there could be associations that have the same team try out on the same night, just at different times, which some crazy hockey people are going to go at a 6 o'clock tryout in Stony Creek, and they'll rush up to Ancaster for a 7:30 tryout, and they're giving them free reign to go try out wherever they want. And I don't agree with it. I think I understand that they've been berated by parents, but it's just not the right decision. There needs to be structure around it. And these are adults. You know, I think they need to do a better job of it. And it starts from the top down. Yeah. And that's why we do what we do with so many associations and board of directors and coaches and parents and kids, because it starts at the top and let's work our way down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting spring. I don't know how much is going to change, but I think people are walking on eggshells right now, and time will tell come late April when tryouts begin what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's important too, kind of what you said with loyalty. Kids need consistency. They need routine. Same when they go to the schools. They need consistency. They need routine. They need to be independent. And I feel like with parents doing these open borders, it kind of eliminates that process for them because they don't have that team building experience that they need. They don't have those connections that they need. So, and imagine it from a child's perspective too, when they're going to a different team, they don't know anybody. How intimidating is that? Yeah. So with what you're doing with Innovate, with your camps and everything, having everybody come from different angles and different communities and different cities, I definitely think that's definitely helping.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that's the word that keeps coming to mind too, is loyalty. Yeah. And it's lacking. Like I said, I refer back to my experience playing hockey, and I was fortunate because I played in a time where we had a few changes per year, per team. Yeah. But all of those guys are still my brothers. I love all those guys from 8 years old to 16. And we got to play with each other for an extended period of time. And our parents, even if there was a bad game or we didn't see much ice time, or maybe you're the 14th or 15th player on the depth chart, you know, our parents understood that's our team. That's where we belong. We had to get better to see more ice time. And let's call it what it is. Call it spade a spade. You know, a lot of frustrated parents, it comes down to they think their player is entitled to more, their son or daughter. And I get it. You go watch your kids' hockey. Most parents are just fixated on their own player. They don't sit back. They don't watch the entire game. And that's why you see a lot of these parents saying, okay, let's make a change. Let's make a change. And when you're dealing with kids that are 8 years old to 16 years old, most of them really don't have a voice. They're young, they're mature, they don't understand it. So it's coming from somewhere, and it comes from mom and dad. So our goal with Innovate Hockey, especially with our parents, is to continue to help them maybe understand it and take a step back and see what is in the best interest for the player, your kid, your son or daughter. That's what we do every single day. There's no hidden agenda. There's no BS. It's to the point. What's in the best interest for little Johnny or little Taylor? Let's do that, because nothing else matters. As an adult group, we're irrelevant. We need to be support. We need to be mentors. We need to help these young people grow as much as we can. But it's not our agenda. It's not your agenda as mom and dad. Sit back, enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy what your kids are doing. And if you live in Hamilton and you want to take your kid to Sarnia to play, all the power to you. But that is some crazy level of investment. Or you want to go to the GTHL. I get it. I understand. I have a lot of buddies that went and played in the GTHL because it's arguably the best league in the country. But that's next level stuff. You're talking about commuting an hour, 2 hours each way.
Yeah.
And at that time it was a little different. Some of the high end players, guys like Darnell Nurse, who went there, and he's had a fantastic NHL career. Now with this whole open borders, the fact that you can just go play Hamilton, or you can go play in Burlington or Oakville or the next closest city, I'm not sure what it's going to bring. But I'm not a fan of players just bopping around to new teams every year.
Yeah, the advocacy has to stop at some point.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of stories that I've heard is definitely player versus player mentality, and the teamwork aspect of basically hockey or any sport. It's definitely like a 1v1 and not like a one against the team that you're opposing. Kind of what you said, when you're growing up, things have changed definitely in the hockey world, of even in sports regularly, just all of those families missing and going places and doing whatever they want. Definitely, I think the advocacy, what I said earlier, needs to.
It's become an individualist sport, which is extremely unfortunate.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than show up to the rink and go to war for all my buddies and my brothers in that dressing room, and nobody else. Sure, our coaches and your mom and dad, but your number one priority was, I'm going to look out for every single person in this dressing room. And now I feel like a lot of these players look out for themselves, which is extremely unfortunate. So that's a huge part of why I started Innovate Hockey, to try and bring back the purpose of hockey, why we're all here. It's a team game. You're not golfing. You're not playing tennis. Amazing sports. I love both those sports, but those are individualist sports. Yep. This is a team sport where you need to rely on everyone. And I had a fantastic parent Zoom meeting with the Lancaster Bombers recently. And we had all 600 parents. And it was fantastic. Very well received from what I hear. Of course, I only hear the good stuff. But a big topic was things like ice time as they go into playoffs. And it's not like kids are going to be just sitting on the bench. That's not the objective here, because everybody pays money to play hockey, and we want to make sure that they're developing. That's the biggest goal. But it comes down to it, and there's 30 seconds left in a period or the game, and you have a face-off in the defensive zone. If I'm a coach, I need my best centerman on the ice. So if your player gets pulled off with 30 seconds left in a period of the game for a player that primarily wins all of our face-offs, a lot of our parents don't understand that or appreciate that or respect that, but that is what's in the best interest for the team. And when I grew up, that's what we understood. Okay, I'm coming off the ice because we can get our goal scorer on because we're down and we need a goal. Does it suck? Yes. Do you hate seeing your kid get pulled off the ice? Yes. But that's what made us who we are today.
There's no I in team.
They're bringing the I back in team, which is what we're trying to take out. So doing our part day by day, but it's unfortunate. And there's still a lot of good kids out there. They're great kids, great families. I don't want this to sound like it's the majority of hockey. It's not. We're talking about a small percentage, but they've got to shift away from thinking about themselves and themselves only, and they got to get back to the team. It's team first. Yes. We always tell them, put your team first, you are second. And if you put yourself in the back seat, you are going to have success. I promise you. So that's Innovate Hockey.
That's Innovate.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today to talk all about Innovate Hockey.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. Thank you.
That's it, right? Off the shelf?
Off the shelf.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
That's it. Thank you.